welcome. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Labs Advisors. You're not supposed to talk yet, Jordan. Come on. Hold on.
I'm not talking.
That was no, okay. Oh, that was you. Garrett, you're not supposed to talk. Shit. Oh. Anyway, welcome to Labs Advisors Live. We're already off the rails. I'm already making a jerk of myself. My name's Joe McHugh. Stepping in for Kimber today is the wonderful Jordan Larson. Jordan, how are you?
I am so good. How are you, Joe?
I am doing fantastic. And you are the newest MAPS coach. Is that what I hear?
Yes, newest MAPS coach with the MAPS technology coaching team.
Well, that's awesome. I'm super excited for you. For awesomeness. I don't know what to say to that. Do you want to say anything? How do people do it?
How do people do what?
Sign up for coaching. No, I don't know.
Sign up for
turning this into an ad.
You can drop me an email or shoot me a text, drop me a DM, anything you need. My email is jordanlarson@kw.com. I'm at mountain.jord on Instagram. So shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. I would be more than happy to discuss coaching with you if that's something you're interested in. Cool. And yes, Chris, I'm not in my car. I'm actually in an office today.
Sorry I put you on the spot. That's what I do. That's what we do here. But welcoming our presenter today, Garrett Stewart. Garrett, how are you?
I'm doing good. Doing great.
Doing good. Yeah.
Amazing.
What good have you done? Have you helped an old lady cross the street?
Not yet. Still looking for that opportunity.
Okay. That was just a joke an old team leader of mine used to say. I don't know. I felt the need to repeat it right now in this moment. But that works.
What makes Joe.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today, Garrett?
So I was going to share some recent Facebook ad successes I've had, which has resulted in currently I have 3 in escrow right now from those results, with another buyer consult from it on Saturday.
Okay, so 3 in escrow.
Can we frame those 3 in escrow? What is the average price point of those 3?
$855, $855, and $310.
So average those out, you're like 600,000.
Yeah, basically.
Something like that. That's cool.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Garrett, are you familiar with what averages are? Never mind.
Hey, this is not math class.
No. What's 3% of 8? No, I'm just joking. Let's move on. Let's do it, Garrett. I don't know. Transition. Let's get into this.
All right. So I was going to share just kind of what I've done with mine. I was going to share how I've gotten success from it and just show a couple of examples of my ad, because I know that some people have kind of said in the past that maybe Facebook leads haven't been as good as they were, at the beginning of the pandemic. It seemed like they were super cheap and easy to get and all that. And I'm here to prove that they can still be cheap, and as well as still turn into deals. I'll show a little bit of my results here. And as you can see, in the last 30 days, I have lead generated 179 leads out of $300. So,
wow.
While my last leads costs were a little bit higher than my previous one, one of these was resulted in a buyer consultation that I am hosting on Saturday. And the other ones down here, which I'd like to point out, again, it can be very cheap. That's 88 cents per lead that I paid. $50 got me 57 leads on this deal for this transaction. And this is the one that I got the buy and sell side for on it, which...
So why do you think, maybe it was just timing, why do you think these leads, and I do see one there was 427, right? So it's not necessarily that it was a time thing, right? Was it the property? What do you see as the biggest indicator or the biggest differentiator between something that's going to get you a low cost, super low cost lead, or just a normal low cost lead? Because let's be real, $4 is still low cost, right? There's nothing expensive about a $4 lead.
Right.
I mean, that's less than a gallon of gas in today's world.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, so one thing I'll point out, and as you can probably guess over here, you can see the address, and This is actually where I was targeting. So this one was targeted in the San Francisco. I'm out of Reno, Nevada, which the Bay Area is about 3.5-hour drive from us.
Okay.
I'm sure people have heard a lot of people are moving away from California to other areas. That's probably about 50% of our business or people coming from, or 50% of our out of area buyers are from the Bay Area. So I know I want to target them. And with that, so that's why I targeted that. This property, and I think I can bring up a preview. It was on 5 acres. And there's land is hard to come by in the Bay Area, I'm sure. And so you can see how I highlighted this home right here, 5-acre home. So I found the value out of what people in that area were going to want to click on. And that's why the San Francisco-based ad, I think, performed the best.
Okay.
And so they see, okay, 5-acre home. And I specified the area because I don't want them to get confused where the home is at. So they know it's in Nevada. Dayton is just a little bit south of Reno, southeast of Reno. And they were able to, just click through. I had this home staged. So it looked really good inside. And I think that's what helped convert that over down to 88 cents per lead. I also ran it in Sacramento and Reno. So I use this during listing presentations to say, hey, I know that buyers are coming from out of the area as well. And to be sure we capture every single possible buyer, I'm going to be running it into the markets that are feeding our local market here. So I normally commit to at least $50 per market. So as you can see, those $350 resulted in 39 plus 57 plus 42.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that you don't just know something about your market. You actually know a little bit about your feeder market, or at least what the buyers from those feeder markets are saying.
Exactly. Yep. So finding that what in that property that you're advertising is going to entice someone in that market the most. So sometimes I'm running an ad in Reno, my local market here, and it might be different than my ad in my San Francisco ad. I might tweak it just a little bit. So because someone in Reno is going to find value in a property probably a little bit different than someone that's living in San Francisco. So
I think that's a huge point.
Yeah.
Is when you're running Facebook targeted ads and you're targeting outside of your local market, asking yourself the question, what's going to be important to somebody who's making the decision to move from the Bay Area to Reno? Maybe very different than somebody looking to move up that already lives in Reno, or maybe downsize that already lives in Reno.
Exactly. Yeah. Completely different. And I can have different conversations with these people and in turn convert them a little bit and make sure my conversion rate's a little bit targeted towards them. So.
And I actually really like that picture you used. It didn't come up before, but how you highlighted the land, not just in the text, but in the description, because images can be so powerful. I mean, do you want to show that? Could you pull that one up? Because I think that was such a really powerful, because if somebody's looking through this and they see this, that kind of highlighting the property itself is definitely going to catch somebody's eye. So I think use a little creativity in here. It's one of those situations where you can just add a little bit of value with that, or a lot of value.
Leveraging your photos to tell as much, if not more, of a story than your description already does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Love that.
But yeah, so after running that, like I said, this listing actually, and I talked about, I had the sell and buy side of it. And what's funny is this listing came from some buyers that I got last fall from a Facebook ad. So when last fall I put a listing on Facebook, I had someone respond to my Twilio text. They called the Twilio number and it forwarded to my cell phone, and I talked with them and they wanted to see the house. I showed them the house. They bought my listing there, and then they're like, well, we still own a house down in Dayton and we're still doing some stuff to get it ready. We'll be ready next spring. Well, spring came along and we listed it in May. And so that listing came from a Facebook ad, which in turn, I got the buyer for this listing from my Facebook ad. And that buyer actually had to sell a house as well. So one thing I want to point out there is because of Facebook ads, I got 2 listings from it, and I see posts in some of these groups that are saying, "What are some good listing ads to get listings?" Create a just list it. People have to sell a house to buy a house, so that's a great way to start.
So a couple things from that. One is, you mean they didn't immediately unsubscribe from your Twilio text? Because I hear that's all that happens.
Oh yeah, no, they I don't get too many that unsubscribe from it. Surprisingly, I would say probably maybe 10%, and the rest, I'm trying to add value between the emails and texts that they're receiving. I want to have them walk away with that. If they don't even use me, have something of value that maybe they consider me in the future.
Yeah. And the other thing I heard was, gosh, I forgot what it was.
Getting listings.
Oh, about the listings. Yes, thank you. I have heard like people give these brilliant ways to get listings on Facebook. And whenever I see somebody run those ads, it's like $27, $30, $50 a lead. Like, there's nothing brilliant about spending $50 for those leads in this capacity in most cases. Like, I don't know, maybe there's a case where it works, but
Well, and if you ask me, right, at the end of the day, we're all working towards that net profit number, right? And it sounds like Garrett just said he spent $150 in Facebook targeted ads and has 3 pieces of business under contract.
yeah.
$150 for, I'm gonna just ballpark it, $25,000 to $30,000 in GCI.
At least, yeah.
That's a pretty good return on investment, if you ask me.
Yes, and making sure you're following up with them with the emails and text, and I should say you should call them too. But I may or may not have called those leads, and all of those actually responded to my Twilio text messages.
Excellent. Now, what are you going to show us? What's in some of these ads beyond just that, or where are we going next?
Yeah, so I guess what I'll do is I'm happy to show a little bit of what my ad, I guess, for this other one that I did. This was the one that is buying that 5-acre land, and then they had to sell this. One thing I show off a lot, or I talk about a lot, is not putting the price point in, or not saying the price in the listing. But this one I actually did. I broke my own rule, but it was more just because the price point. The median home price in this area is $500 and something thousand. So I figured I'd highlight it because it was it's 1,000 square foot house. And so I highlighted the price point. And I knew I would get leads from that. So that's what I did with that one, and got some good results. And then,
well, and in the end, right, we don't put the price because we want people to click through, but you're giving them another reason to click through, right? You're just making a trade-off.
Yeah, because, well, one, in way of putting the price range, you can get, the reason I say that is because you're going to remove the people that are just curious about the price. But at the same time, your people that are clicking on that ad are going to be a little bit more interested, that they weren't clicking on your ad just for the price point, or for just because they were curious of the price. They were still interested in that property and wanted more information on it. And so with that, I was able to get 16, 13, and 12 leads off those. So
yeah.
So once those ads run, the big thing I do is making sure that they are on a smart plan, like I mentioned. And I actually, for those that are watching, if you actually go into the smart plan library, I have shared my Facebook ad smart plans within the library. And I'll show where you can find that real quick so you guys can see. And I'm happy to highlight those for you.
I was going to say, did I just hear easy button?
I know, right?
You're telling me all I have to do is go rip off and duplicate the ads you're already building, which you just showed us.
Exactly.
And then just go download your smart plan to convert them. And I can follow the same system that Garrett has followed to get 3 pieces of business under contract in the last 90 days.
That's all it takes.
Money. That is money you can put in the bank.
Exactly. So what I'll do is, so you got a smart plan here, and you can just find me in the library, and if you just typed in Facebook, you're going to get a ton of different ones. So my suggestion, if you just search by author name here and type in my name, which it's Garrett Stewart, and then hit enter, you're going to find all of my different ones. I've shared a few on here, but at the bottom here, you see my most recent ones here. And I just posted them just recently, a couple weeks ago. But I have it in 3 separate smart plans. And I'm kind of strategic about that. Some people want to do it in one big smart plan. But the reason I don't is, have you ever had a Facebook lead and you reach out to them and they say you have, it's like wrong person, or I was just curious, but you don't want to remove them from the email. I'd rather have them keep getting dripped on the email, especially if it's wrong number. I want to make sure they have the opportunity to do that. So if it's like, oh, wrong number, no worries. I take them off the text and call plans and I can just leave them on the email plan. So it's doing it, versus before I had it all on one smart plan, all those things going out. And then they said wrong number. Well, what do? I could either delete the phone number and Twilio will just stop trying to send it, or I could just have it automatically just keep sending the email portion. So that's why I went with that route, or if I needed to take them off of it. So,
and this actually blew my mind. I learned something from you the other day, that you can actually start more than one smart plan from campaigns. I had no clue. Like, that's one thing I was completely ignorant of. So for anybody who didn't know that, anybody like me, you can do that.
Yeah. So I have all 3 going and ready to go at once. Now, I want to highlight, and probably one of my most interesting ones, and why I had used other smart plans for the longest time. But one thing I hated was I didn't know if people were interacting or actually finding value in my emails. I'd put information in there and I'd say, hey, let me know if you want this. But I actually didn't ever just hand it to them. And I wanted to give them some more power to do some things on their own, which in turn would gauge my interests. Fun fact, you can actually see who is not only opening your emails, but clicking on your emails. So if you had a link to something on your email, you can see that.
And I want to get there. I just want a real quick question.
Yes.
Is this complete grab and go? And just for clarity here, or are there, some smart plan you have to put in your email or website or stuff like that? How much do people have to fiddle with these smart plans for them to work?
The text one is pretty much ready to go. I don't think there's any edits needed on that. I would double check. I can't remember if I did anything. If anything, the first text might, but I don't think so. I think it'll autofill everything how it's supposed to be. It'll autofill your name and the client's name on there. The Facebook lead email, you will have some homework, and I kind of highlight that there. If you hover over this, I'll explain. You're going to edit the smart plan, and you're going to, and I made everything in bold so you could easily find it when you're scrolling through the smart plan. And in that, all you got to do is edit those bold parts, which are going to be hyperlinks to your agent website is what I'm utilizing. So I'm happy to show that off if you'd like.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's your show. Yeah, so I think it's just important to point out, right? We just make some slight changes, but easy. 5 minutes. How long would you say it would take them to make those adjustments?
As long as you know how to, which I have a video walkthrough for those that decide to want to learn how to do that part of it. But I have as long as you know where your agent website is and how to search on your agent website, you can have this done in less than 5 minutes.
Cool.
It's pretty simple. So I'll go ahead and I'll show this smart plan, the email smart plan, and how I'm adding value to these agents or to these Facebook leads. So here's the first one. And it's just more info on that house is the subject line. It's going to get immediately. This is also another reason why I split it into 3 different smart plans, because they all start at the same time. But if they log in and enter their information at 1 a.m., I want to make sure that email smart plan is firing off first. If you have a smart plan that has your text and emails on it, and that text step is before the email step, if it's 1 a.m., they're not going to get that email until the next day when that Twilio text goes out. When it's during the hours, I think it's 10 a.m. Central Time to 7 p.m. Central Time or something like that. So making sure that it falls in those lines. So I have more info on the house, and here's that hyperlink I mentioned. So it is this home. I have to click here to see the listing info and photos again. So I do a specific one for each Facebook. So I don't know if you noticed, the listing is on Rawhide. So I just duplicated my email or this smart plan for this one so that if they click on it, they're going to automatically get taken to that. Because how many times have we clicked on something on Facebook and then later on in the day, you're like, oh, I want to see that again, whatever I clicked on, but you don't remember where you found it. That's what I'm trying to make sure they know where it is. So when you're asking about a house, you're like, here's the house you did click on, by the way. So you know what the heck I'm talking about. And when they click on that, it is getting recorded in the reports applet, and I can access and see who is that looking at it there.
That's awesome. So what you're doing is giving them relevant information to the ad they clicked on, not just generic kind of follow-up. You're giving highly specific follow-up, which you're saying takes about 5 minutes for you to put together simply because you're duplicating these smart plans.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's almost every single one of these links just highlights right back to my agent website. So this click here is simply a hyperlink to that listing on my website. So my website, which anyone's welcome to go look at, is renosparks.kw.com. And I would just type in that search address right there. So if I typed in 310 Rawhide, which by the way, always utilize some type of, whether you use your agent website or if you're paying for another third-party site, I don't care. Just make sure it's branded to you, because on that branded website, if someone asks for info on this property, I don't want them going to a Zillow agent or a realtor.com, something like that. I want to make sure I'm getting that lead back to me. So this listing is going to highlight that back to me.
Can we touch on that for a second too? I love that it's your agent site and not necessarily a standalone landing page.
Yes.
Because if I click on this and I'm like, oh, that house is cool. Like, I wonder what else is for sale in the area.
Right there.
And continue to look around. I have the ability to, and I stay within your web rather than getting sucked down some other avenue.
Exactly. Yep. And so that's the way I look at it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I want to get this listing sold, but I understand that property may not be for, I mean, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. So that's why even some people said once they found out it only had 1 bathroom, that wasn't the house for me. Oh, perfect. Well, here are some 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms right on here that they can look at that may be a fit for them. So they could start exploring it on there as well. And if they're interested, they can ask for info, which I did have one person on that Rawhide ad for this listing specifically hit ask your agent and message me on my app. So, which was pretty cool. Nice. And so, yeah, so that was the first step of that smart plan. The next step is, again, step 2, 1 day later, it's giving click here to access it. So setting up a home search for them and saying if they want to access a home search, they can click here, and that's just going to take them to my agent website so I can see. So if they wanted to browse for homes there, and then just telling them to hit the sign up in the top corner to get access to safe searches, and it works with me. So again, once they click on that, I'm getting that recorded in that reports applet, which I'll show here in a second if you guys would like. Yeah, absolutely.
I think you were ready to go that route, and I just was like, nope, we're going this way.
Yeah. But yeah, and then the next email, it's just kind of asking their time frame and stuff. So that one does not have a link, but it's just more of a question-based one of when are they looking to buy. And I kind of broke it down into different time frames for them, so I got a better idea. Instead of, oh, sometime soon, sometime this fall, whatever. I want to get like a more within a couple months of their ideal time frame. So I have that, and then you'll see on this as well on your home search site, you can set up things to sort by newest listings first. You can sort by price reduced listings or open houses. And the next few things, open houses, newest listings. This one reverts back to Keller Mortgage. These are going to give them options to click on your website to see those things. So fun fact, if you just search for an area, if I just typed in Reno NV, and just hit search properties around it, it's going to highlight that. And I can actually say, I only want to see homes that have open houses or have reduced their price. And a lot of homes have that option right now. So if I were to say, let's see who's reduced their price in the last 7 days, I'm going to see, wow, a lot of homes have been reducing their prices the last 7 days. And you can see right there and start clicking on them there. So this link right here is now a link that I can share with anyone, and it will always be a live link of this view, but it'll always be updated with the most recent price reductions first.
Well, and now you're also, and this is going to tie back to when we get into the reports, right? Is when we do these internet follow-up, we're just kind of putting different bait in the water and seeing which bait they bite, right? So if it's open houses, if it's reduced prices, whatever, we're trying to figure out what it is that's going to grab their attention. And again, what you're going to show us in just a minute is how we can then use reports to say, okay, which bait got them.
Exactly. Yep. What are they interested in? So, and so again, you can just toggle that just by when you search for the area you want, and then just toggle between the open houses, price reduced, or just sort by most recent. I think there is days on site. So you just have the lowest days on site show first. So that those would be the newest listings. So just utilizing your website, again, it's all branded to you, which is really nice. And so highlighting all of those items on there with things there, so that way that people can access it. So utilizing those hyperlinks, which by the way, I just have it, instead of having the link actually in there, I just say these homes, and like literally I'll just copy whatever I want or highlight it. And you can just hit this hyperlink button and you can add the link that you want to send them to right there. You just paste it and it's good to go. And so that's how I utilize that. So let's just say we have someone, and I'll show some real results right now. In the reports applet of this, I can see who's not only looking at my smart plan and opening it, but I can see who is clicking on it. So I can see that so far this June, I have sent almost 1,500 emails, and 37% of them have been opened. But, just because they open it doesn't mean they're interested. They might just be swiping, and just quickly maybe deleting it shortly after. I want to see who's actually interacting with my emails. So I'm utilizing this click option here. So I can click on here and I hit view details, and this is going to show who is actually clicking on my emails and watching this. So now these ones here are different smart plans that aren't related to my other smart plan. These are clients that were clicking on things. But if you go back here, look at that. More info on the house. And then the next day, so this was step 1 of that email smart plan. And then step 2, subject line was that. So this person is the same person, and they clicked on the links on both of those emails. Now, what that tells me is they may be interested in buying something. Fun fact, this is the person I think I'm meeting with on Saturday for a buyer consult. So when you're utilizing this and paying attention, this I kind of use as my who should I call first, or who should I reach out to first if I'm making my calls to these people. Because it means that they're highly engaged and interested in whatever you're offering to them. So why not call them and see how you can help them? Because these people are basically looking for help. If they're clicking and doing things on your website.
I was going to say the fact that they're opening your emails, multiple emails, and clicking through to your website on multiple occasions, that tells me they are raising their hand saying, I am actively engaged and trying to purchase a home.
Yep. Exactly. So, and as you can see, because 1,500 emails sent, I've only had 3 people unsubscribe from my emails out of 1,500.
Garrett, that's just because everyone loves to see your smiling face in their inbox.
That's what happens. I mean, it doesn't have my picture in it, but we'll just pretend.
Well, hey, maybe your name's just less likely to get unsubscribed from than mine.
That might be it. Garrett just flows off the tongue. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've got going. So, I mean, I wanted to just show this to prove that, one, Facebook ads can still very well work. And I think with the market is shifting right now, we know that homes are sitting on the market longer, at least they are in Reno. We have to do a little bit more, one, for our sellers to advertise this home. So I guess, Saeed, I'll send out some emails for you. So we know the market's shifting. So we have to do, it's not so much as throwing a sign in the yard anymore and hoping and having 10 offers the next day. We are going back to pre-pandemic ways of, actually marketing and, working our tail off for our sellers to make sure we get that house sold in a timely manner for them. And this is a great method, one, for if you are a listing agent, utilizing this in your business can be huge for your sellers. And if you're a buyer's agent, utilize this off someone else's listings. Because what I showed were 2 for sale ones that I do. And those are the only ads I make are specific listing properties. Ask someone, an agent in your office, to use their listing and get the buyer leads off of that. I've helped a couple of agents in my office that were, wanting to do more ads like this. And I told them, I said, go into the MLS and at least in our MLS, you can do a search by office. And so I said, set up an MLS search, maybe pick a few agents in the office that you have permission to advertise their thing. So they picked like 5 agents that do it. And so they're getting alerted when that listing agent puts a new listing on the MLS. So then they know, oh, new listing, I'm going to go double check with them, make sure I can advertise this house. And a lot of these listing agents, they might not have any interest of doing a Facebook ad, but they have someone say, hey, I'm willing to pay to advertise your listing. Now, as a listing agent, they're like, heck yeah, spend your money for my listing. That's great. So it adds value to both parties.
Well, I don't know that I've ever met a single listing agent that would ever say, no, I don't want you to bring me a buyer for my listing.
Exactly. So, so I think it's a huge value. So whether you're, again, more listings based or more buying based, it's a value to do this for either side of it, which is really cool.
Cool.
But yeah, is there any questions from anyone? I feel like I'm like talking a bunch and I'm maybe going too fast for some. So hopefully, if there's anyone that has questions, please post them.
Okay, well, talk me through. So your process is you take a listing that you feel like is going to be worth advertising and a good campaign-based listing.
Yeah.
You build your campaign and then you customize the smart plans to match that campaign? Or what does that flow look like for you?
So basically once I create an ad, and basically what I have, so we'll just take this one here. Once I'm ready and I got a new listing, I can actually just go and copy. If you click on those 3 dots there and hit copy, and you're just going to rename it. Like, let's just say it was 123 Main Street, for example. All you got to do is type in that, and then that's going to create a new one right there. And it's going to have all the information that's on it. I'll hit that edit pencil right there. And all I have to do is one thing. I'm changing this first hyperlink to that 123 Main Street. So I'll just go in there and I'll change it in there.
So once I've got my smart plan built, I just create a new copy of the smart plan, change one hyperlink in the first email of each one, and I'm good to go.
That's it. And then it's set. And then you can just keep them on there. And then, once they run through it, this runs for 63 days. So just over 2 months of emails. And then they're set. I think at the end, it gives me a task. I don't know. I think it's one of the other. Oh, here it is. It will add them to the biweekly neighborhood nurture as well. And, allow me to make sure that they're at least getting some type of email from me in the future. This does remind me to make sure they have a neighborhood added to them. So I don't forget that, because that's the thing. If I just add them to neighborhood nurture, it does nothing. So I say, hey, 3 days before it automatically will go on it, make sure you add a neighborhood to them so they can at least get some type of value add from you forever. Because I don't want this smart plan to just end and then they never hear from me again. Then it's just, I'm wasting money for leads at that point. They're getting neighborhood nurtures. And then in turn, I'm continuing to watch that reports applet. And if someone starts clicking on it over time in 6 months from now, and it's a lead from an ad I did 6 months previously, I'm like, oh wow, maybe now they're interested in actually making a move. And that may be a prompt to reach out to them.
That's incredible.
So yeah, that's my way of gauging interest. If they're clicking on something I'm emailing them, they're raising their hand and saying they're interested. I'll be honest, I am not the big like caller of these leads. I'll sometimes give the leads to another agent in the office to call. And that's happened before. But if they're raising their hand and clicking and interacting with my emails, for me, that's enough of a permission that I feel confident that I'll call them and normally I'll be able to set an appointment just like I did with the one that I'm meeting with Saturday.
So did I just hear you say that you're not the type of agent to sit and just dial for dollars until you're numb from just dialing phone numbers all day, and you still have 3 under contracts from $150 in ad spend?
Correct.
Guys, it's not that hard.
Yeah. You just got to do it.
Incredible.
So while I encourage people to make the calls, I don't fully practice what I preach, so I can't fully commit to that. But imagine what my results would have been if I would have called all those people right when the leads came in. I probably could have had maybe double the amount of business I have right now. I don't know. So it's all a numbers game.
Well, and it sounds like the numbers are working for you, and there's still opportunity to capitalize on that even further.
Even further, exactly.
Let me see what format the one.
Yeah, I think I've burned myself through all this stuff. I don't know if anyone has any questions from that part, but
you were just too good in describing everything. Nobody has any questions today. It's okay. It happens.
I know, right? I'm like, come on, let's give me something.
I think my favorite thing though is like everybody talks about the 10 days of pain or the 21 days of gain. Garrett, you're like, I want 63 days. That's what I'm doing.
You know, I should have added a 3-day delay to make it 66 days.
There you go.
I think you need to add that. I think we need to get this to a 66 days of pain.
Well, because 66 days of reaching out to the client, you're creating the habit for them to respond to you. Is what's going on.
Exactly. There we go. I'm gonna have to
go right when you need it to go. Perfect.
I love it. Well, and I love at the end that you made the point of that you've spent 63 days now cementing and building some level of a relationship with them. So to make sure that you have some ongoing continual follow-up and continue to nurture that relationship in your database, I think is huge, because who knows, at some point, everyone will buy or sell a house. It's just a matter of when.
A matter of when. Exactly.
Cool. I have no
Joe
questions.
is so inspired.
I'm really inspired. Actually, I do have a question. So 10 days of pain, if people respond, the idea is take them off, right? You're not going to do this. Is your plan a remove them from the plan, or is it a keep them going on it? Like, what's your strategy when it comes to that?
So great question. So if they respond to a Twilio text, whether they said, basically almost any response to a Twilio text, I remove them from the Twilio Smart Plan immediately, because almost anything, a lot of my Twilio messages are like, hey, I know you haven't responded or something along those lines. So that would make it weird that I cut it. So that's why I go that route. So I remove them from that Smart Plan.
Had you already added your recipients
for the email campaign? And on the email campaign, it'll I normally will leave them on that. That way they're continuing to get from me on that part at least. I want at least some type of drip on them at any given time, though.
Cool.
But yeah, making sure, and that is one important thing. Watch your command app, and if people are responding to these things, take them off the Smart Plan if they're responding. I was helping an agent in my office, and someone was responding to their Smart Plan that I had set up for them, and I'm like, did you see that they responded that they were wanting to see this house yesterday? She was like, no. I'm like, yeah, they literally want to go look at your listing. So it's pay attention and, utilize the command app. It's pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah.
Oh, is that what that was? That's the ghost I heard, was whatever's going on in the background of Jordan's office.
Underneath where it
Oh,
says
come on,
history,
guys.
it
You don't want to hear a little bit
says
extra about
follow.
DocuSign today?
That is our next topic. Stop
Bottom
no,
with that
no.
blank PDF.
Cool. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Chris Orsini had the question, who's teaching DocuSign? But that's about it. So questions, comments, concerns, stories, anecdotes, which is just another word for stories. What do we got?
Joe, what is your favorite color?
Mhm.
My I think it's green, actually.
That's mine.
It's green. It used to be, I had a period in my life where black was my favorite color because I don't know. I wasn't like goth, but I was like,
Because you like wanted to channel your inner Kimber Walton and just be like, black. I only wear black.
Yeah. I for a while I was doing the Steve Jobs black shirt jeans thing. But no, I think green is my my favorite color.
I like it.
Not exactly Labs Advisors Live usual content, but we appreciate it. What is your favorite color? What is your favorite color, Jordan?
Oh, see, I joined a team based on the color, red sign team. So
that was the whole reason for joining.
Yeah, actually, I walked in the office. I was like, "Oh, that team has red on their listing sign. I'll join them."
Also, it's only showing one.
No, that was not my only reasoning. I don't think anyone on my team is in this Facebook group, so we should be okay. If they are, it's because it's a great team.
There you go. One thing I'll point out before we end is if there's people watching this and they want to see me do a full walkthrough of editing this smart plan and how to utilize their command agent website and creating a Facebook ad, I have a full video walkthrough for those curious and wanting to basically it's an hour long, and I have a video on it on my website, commandconsole.com, under videos. And under there, I have Facebook ads, a full walkthrough to success. And it is literally 55 minutes. So that has a full walkthrough of basically kind of what I went over today, but just more in depth of literally every single step. So you can't go wrong.
I love that you make the effort to do the pose on every single one of your videos.
All right.
Like,
well, somebody's the same, but yes.
I just want to know what it was like having to do a photo shoot, taking pictures like this.
It's so much fun. Like, look at that. I always have a log of what I look like at different times. So, but yes.
Off on a tangent. Okay, cool. Well, if there are no further questions about people's favorite colors, or whatever, I don't care. I guess we're done.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for hopping on and watching.
Yeah,
all right. Bye, everybody. Bye, whoever teaching DocuSign.
I'm gonna see.